Hello guys, nice that you're here. When I look back in the time when I started doing programming, here are the things I wish I knew before I started programming. If you'd like to move with me to know the things that I'd like to know before I started programming, stay with me till the video ends. The first thing I wish I knew is that uh, learning one thing at a time. Pick a topic, do one project, other than going in various topics at once. Pick one topic in a certain language that you picked. For example, if you're doing React uh, in JavaScript, pick a specific point. If you're learning something like use state, something like states, things of that kind, pick one topic and learn till you get more skills, and do at least a simple practice, maybe an example, to see that you have got something. Then move on to the next step. Another thing is that learning the documentation. Back in a time when I started learning about open source, the first problem, the mistake I did first is that uh, uh, I didn't take much time to read the documentation, and the documentation is something that is more important if you are to start learning about something. If you are to start about learning a certain language, if it has a documentation, please take your time. It's not a wastage of time, but it helps to build your brain to understand the foundation of a certain language you're going to work on. If you have picked an open source platform and you do wish to contribute to, first read the documentation, then you can proceed to do whatever else is needed. So another thing is that uh, you cannot be perfect in your code. Don't wait for the time that at this time I will be perfect. You can never get perfect, but you can be good at coding. So the more you take time, the more you practice, uh, your code becomes more cleaner. Once you persist on and code at and you persist code at every day, so you become more cleaner. You find that your errors are reducing each and every day. So the um, my favorite language that I do wish you start with if you're new to coding is JavaScript. Though you can also start with any else language, but here is why I recommend JavaScript. Just because in JavaScript you can easily create you can create UI easily, user interface. For the user interface, in JavaScript you can easily make a website where a user can easily interact with when it has the front end, and you can get a rapid feedback. So, but in Python, it's majorly used in the back end uh, to make the reply to a certain platform, maybe a button. The reply that comes when you click on a button, does something like an API. So even in JavaScript, you can create all those APIs. So another thing with that to wasting time is that this is the right time for you to start coding. It's not too late. Someone may say that uh, I would like to start coding when I'm mature, or I would like to start coding when I'm young. Now I'm old. So those are minor issues. This is the right time for you to start coding. Let it be whether you're on a campus, you're at school, you can start programming. Even though you're still at school, it's the right time. Say that when time comes, you'll be a step forward. So another thing is that some people have this question that the operating system, it similar to me. I got many questions about which operating system should work for me. Ah, I searched about Mac OS, Windows, Linux, but the thing is that any operating system can do well in coding, no matter what. But I have ever used the Mac OS. I did many projects on Mac OS using Mac OS, and I also used Windows operating systems. My previous laptop was a Mac OS, but when you measure the two operating systems, you get the same results. There is no difference. Some people may say that Mac OS is at least faster, but those are minor issues. If you're starting coding, any operating system works fine. Just your code matters. It's better you go on learning. Uh, there are three operating systems you can use. Windows, Windows, I think it's more popular. And then you can use Mac OS, and then Linux. So another thing is that there is no difference. There is no difference between a software developer and a software engineer. Many people have questions. "Ah, what is
What's the difference between software engineer and a software developer?
Don't get confused. They all one thing. A software developer is the same as a software engineer. There is no difference. There is no difference. They are all the same. So don't get stuck at that. They are all similar. Software developer, software engineer. So another thing is that any language is good for you to learn. Any language, but not. So as you understand that language, any language is good for you, but not every language. So do a research. The guidance is that find for the simple language to start with. They are simple languages. Leave alone the hard languages. You will waste a lot of time and end up getting tired of coding because you took a wrong part, you took a wrong language which is hard for you as a beginner. There are many simple languages that you can start with. So another thing is that I learned doing a quick research. I learned finding for the solutions very quickly ever since I started programming. Back in the time when before starting programming, it could take me a long time to find for the solution, but I thank myself for learning programming because it taught me a lot. It taught me even in my usual life, even in my day-to-day life, finding solutions and making research is now more simple ever since you start programming because it teaches you to find solutions on your own, to solve bugs on your own, though there are communities that can also help you. You can search on Google, do a lot of research. So another thing is that start projects, start your own projects, so that you can learn while doing any project of your own, maybe a shopping app. It doesn't need you to be good at coding. Just go on and do. Even though you have less knowledge about coding, do as you learn. The mistake you do helps you to learn the solution, how to fix. So the last thing is that be flexible. Be flexible. In other words, learn new technologies. Learning new technologies is something that is productive. So don't get stuck on a single technology. In software development, every time there is an improvement. So when you get stuck in the old content, you'll be left backward. Go on and do a refreshment. Learn new things. Every day, new things are being brought in the field of software development. Search about new things. Add that skill on your skill. It will make you a super software developer. So, thanks for watching. See you now in the next video.